Hello. In order to be successful for today's class, you need to have 3 sheets of blank paper on your desk. You need to have all the papers from yesterday on your desk and from today, and a highlighter would be nice. You need all of the sheets from yesterday. You need blank sheets of paper. If you need blank sheets of paper, they're over there on the shelf. Help yourself. You need 3 blank sheets of paper, and you need all the papers from yesterday, and I would take out a highlighter. Okay, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. The faster we move in class, the better your quality of life is at home. Okay, what you're going to do with all the papers that you have in front of you, you will notice that you have something that is called a quantitative sample question, and then you have quantitative prompts. Put them together. You'll notice you have concept application, which is prompts, and concept application sample question. Put them together. Then you have SCOTUS comparison prompts, and then you have SCOTUS sample. There's my sample. So, okay, put them together. So you've now grouped your 3 major essays that we are looking at. You also got this stapled paper. That's what we're going to look at first. So you should have put your SCOTUS comparison sample question next to your SCOTUS comparison prompts. You should have put your concept application prompts. Write the word prompts next to application. Handwrite the word application next to prompts next to application here. Next to your concept application sample question. And then you have your quantitative sample question and quantitative prompts. On the sheets that say prompts, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to highlight SCOTUS, concept, and quantitative, please. On your papers that have prompts on them, you should have SCOTUS, concept, and quantitative highlighted. On all the papers that have prompt on it, you should have those highlighted. Those refer to the type of question. Okay. Take out your AP Government Exam Explained. It's the packet one. Okay. This is a breakdown of what your test will look like on May 6th. You are day 1. Write it. You are day 1, week 1, 8 a.m. You are the very first exam of exam week. What does that mean? It is going to be as slow as hell start. It is going to be really slow. You're going to be waiting quite some time before you even get in the room. You're going to be waiting quite an amount of time to get the essays, the exam even started. Why? Because you're the first. You're the first. So, I'm telling you now, just be mentally prepared. You're going to be waiting around a lot because it's day 1, week 1. AP World is week 2, day 4. Things are going by that point. They figured it out. Day 1, week 1, 8 a.m., and you're the big room. You're going to be in the gym. So, it's going to be slow. Okay. This is what your exam looked like. There's 2 sections. Section 1, Section 2. It takes a total of 3 hours, but because it's day 1 exam, it takes closer to 4. Because you're standing around waiting, because it's a delayed start. So, just kind of psychologically prepare. You know now. You'll be fine. So for section 1, you are going to do multiple choice. You have 55 questions in 80 minutes, which is luxurious. Like, you can take a nap after answering some of them. In comparison to AP World, you get 55 questions in 55 minutes. And you are sweating the whole time because if you don't move quick, you're not going to finish. Why do you get 55 and 80? I have no idea. But you do, and that's nice. Okay. You have some stimulus questions. As you know, you've seen them on the test, but not all of them are stimulus. Y'all are getting better at your test. Have you noticed? Yeah. Look at my wall over there. We got 1 perfect score. Sydney got a perfect score. Okay. Oliver is on the wall. Mia is on the wall. Anyone else? Who's up there that's not in here that I haven't called out? Ryson. Nope. This is the next period. Perfect. Okay, so nice job. So, with that being said, you guys are getting better. I haven't just climbed up there. I did them. I just haven't put them up there. That's not how they're going to stay. Someone was like, are you going to leave it like that? No, I just haven't climbed up there yet. Okay. That is the multiple choice. You're clearly getting better at it, and that's amazing, and that makes me really happy. With that being said, it's only half the exam. So if you do amazing on half and awful on the other, you fail. Colin.
What if you got in the same score on every single test?
I'd say do better. I don't know what that score is, Colin, and we're not talking personalized here. If you want to speak to me about your test, I'd be more than happy to. Come see me. Section 2. So you'll take a 15-minute break between Section 1 and Section 2. Section 2, you get 4 questions, and you have 100 minutes. Okay? So an hour and 40 minutes to do it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there are 4 types of questions. 3 of them, concept, quantitative, and SCOTUS, the ones you're writing this week, are all FRQs, which means they're free response questions, which means there's no thesis, there's no analysis. You just have to answer the questions and answer them well. You should be very happy. You should be very happy. So if you just survived writing week in AP World, this is nowhere near AP World. AP World is very, very hard. APGov is fine. You will notice we have argumentative essays for number 4. We are not going to touch that until week 14. Is everyone clear? So we are going to perfect the FRQs, and then we'll write thesis-based essays. Is everyone clear on how this is working? So this week, you have 3 types of FRQs that we will be practicing together. I'm telling you right now that I have very high expectations for writing week. Throughout the course of the year, for 50% of your exam, you only have to do 4 weeks of writing. Is everyone clear on that? Okay? With that being said, it means it's go time. Which means you are not allowed to show up to my class without your essays. Rinkus, how does it feel to show up to my class without your essays, boss? Not too good. Is Samantha Bennett warm, kind, and understanding, or completely irrational? Definitely irrational. And I will hold it against you and remind you every single day. Have I not, Rinkus? Have I reminded you every day that you forgot your essays? Yes, because I'm petty. Is everyone clear? Do not show up to my class unprepared in writing week. I have no tolerance for it, and I will not accept it because we do trading and grading, which means if you don't do your job, you are taking an opportunity away from someone else, and I have 0 tolerance for it. Is everyone clear? I will use my time in class to be as efficient and as effective as possible to help you get as much done in class to have less at home, which means I have the expectation of you coming to my class prepared. Is everyone clear on that? I also know that your essays are significantly easier than AP World, and my AP World kids can write theirs, you can write yours. Is everyone clear on that? I have no tolerance. Do not show up to my class unprepared. Are we clear? Yes? Am I crystal clear? Because I have no tolerance. Here we go. Okay. I'm not going to go through the rest of this because I don't have time because I need to go through how to write your essays. But it is a nice little breakdown of what your concept, your quantitative, your SCOTUS, and your argumentative. Okay? Ignore the argumentative. We'll be dealing with it later. Here we go. Look at your prompts. Tonight, you have 3 essays for homework. Everything that you do in class, everything that we do gets scored. Is everyone clear? There's 2 different ways we score. A, you get completion. Like, for instance, I'm going to write concept number 2 in class for you. All you have to do is hold it to Monday and turn it in on Monday, and you get 10 points for it. Does that sound nice? Everything you do in class gets you points. We don't waste time. I'm not going to do a bunch of stupid stuff. I'm going to help you solve your homework problem. Does that sound good? Which means the faster you talk to me, the faster we move, which means the more essays I plan. Does that sound nice? Yes. So, here we go. This is your homework. You are answering SCOTUS number 1. So, look at your prompts, look at SCOTUS, and circle number 1. You are doing concept number 2. So, look at your concept prompts. That's why we highlighted it. And then you are doing quantitative number 1. Quantitative number 1. You are entirely responsible for knowing what essays I've selected and what is responsible. Is everyone clear? So I already told you there's 2 essentially gradings that occur. 1 for completion. So out of the 3 up there, I will score 1 of them. The other 2 are completion. Completion points are like 10 points. You turn them in and I give them 2. And then the third one will be a rubric. It's usually between 12, 16, or 24 points. Okay, and we'll score them in class. Once we score them in class, I'll collect them and I will post them all on Canvas. Is everyone clear on the expectations here? What do you got?
So both the quantitative and the SCOTUS are number 1?
Yes. Yep, and they're always on my board.
Okay.
So they're always on my board. It'll always be posted, so you know exactly what you're doing. That's why we highlighted all the prompts with the nicknames of them, so you knew which one is which. Is everyone clear on the expectation? How many essays are you turning into me on Monday? 3. No excuses. Here we go. So, take out one of your blank sheets of paper. Let's go. Okay, we are going to focus on concept number 2 first. Okay. When we are writing essays, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing you do at the top of every page that you start, you're going to write what type of essay it is, concept, and then you're going to write what number you're writing, number 2. On one sheet of paper, you're going to plan on one side, and you're going to write the essay on the other. How many sheets of paper do you need per essay? 1. Do not waste paper. We don't need to kill a forest. One side you're going to plan, the other side you're going to write. Is everyone clear on that? Makes it easier on me, too. Here we go. Concept number 2. Every single one of you has to plan your essay. You will see that my planning of essays are very light. I am not expecting you to do these over-the-top things, but you need to clarify your thoughts before you start writing. Is everyone clear? Perfect. Here we go. You need to label your essays as you go. So, concept number 2, we're starting with A. Identify 2 formal constitutional powers of the president in making foreign policy. Here we go. What do you got?
Here's what I found.
Goes off every period. No one has any idea. Hi, I'm not going to give you the answers. I've taught you the content. The faster you give me the answers, the faster I move. If you don't know these answers, you should open up your executive branch notes or assignments. You know how all week I've been telling you should go find them in the box? This is why. Because we're doing executive branch right now. If you open your executive focus and your executive vocab or your executive breakdown, guess where all the answers are? Right there. Colin. Executive appointments? Agreements? No. How is that? No. That's not, it's not a constitutional power. It's an informal one. What do you got? Make treaties. Okay, we need another one. All right, talk to Mia. What do you got? Megan. Okay, what do we call the president at that point? Because you can't say meet with foreign leaders because there's no vocab. Vocab is treaties. We need a vocab term. He's called the chief diplomat. That's our vocab, diplomat. Okay? Means all, okay, so now please listen. I am not modeling what I want you to do. I am just trying to give you an idea of how this is going to go. I want you to plan all the way through your essay and then write. Is everyone clear? But I want to make sure that you are seeing exactly how this information is going to be used. So flip it to the other side. What do we write at the top? Concept 2. You're going to write A because we're answering A. Here we go. Okay. 2. Formal. Power. 2 formal constitutional powers of the president has, when making, what am I doing right now? Re-saying the prompt. Making foreign policy is the ability to make treaties with foreign nations and they are given the title of chief diplomat. Okay, we can't just leave chief diplomat. We gotta explain. The president has the sole responsibility of representing the U.S. to the rest of the world, according to the Constitution. There you go. Done. I've restated the prompt. I've included my 2 vocab terms, as you can see. When they ask for 2 things, they're saying 2 vocab terms, something you've specifically learned in my class. You can't just like talk about something, you have to actually say something. All right, here we go. Flip it over. B. Identify 2 formal constitutional powers of Congress in making foreign policy. All right, what are 2 constitutional powers of Congress? What do we got? Eve? Huh? Approval of treaties is a good one. Approval of treaties. Perfect. What else is another one? Colin?
They can approve ambassadors to the president.
Sure, but what's maybe an easier one where we don't have to explain so much? What's the coolest thing that Congress can do? They don't do it often. What do they do, Jade? Congress can't veto. No. Estella. Declare war. Yeah. That's foreign policy, right? That's cool. All right, flip it over. B. 2. Formal. Constitutional. Powers of Congress when making foreign policy is its ability to declare war, and raise, what did we pick? And what did we say? And approve treaties. Done. We've listed them. Now we got to kind of explain. Okay? Congress was given explicit authority to create an army and to dispense it as long as it's done to enforce or protect our country. There you go. Done. All right, flip it over. C. Okay. I would like you to notice that your questions are actually progressive. What does that mean? The questions are progressive. They're set up in a progressive fashion. What does that mean? They what? Kind of, but progressive doesn't mean they necessarily do, but they usually do. What do you got, Ellie? They get harder as you go. They get harder as you go. Every essay in APGov is progressive, which means A is always easy. D is always hard. All right, here we go. C. All right, identify 2 informal powers of the president that contribute to the president's advantage over Congress in conducting foreign policy. I already talked to Colin. Haley. What does that have to do with over Congress and foreign policy? That's a weird one you're going to have to argue. Ash.
You mean like agreements? Like what we do?
Executive agreements is a bomb answer. Executive agreements is a bomb answer, Ash. Okay, what else we got? What else is another informal tool? What do you got, Don? That's usually not used to keep secrets of foreign leaders. So I'm going to say no, but I appreciate the effort. What do you got? Oh, no, that's explicit. That's explicit in the Constitution. Oh, hell yeah. That's explicit. Hi, open up your notes and find something if you don't know. Sitting there looking at me, looking at you means you got more essays to do by yourself. Mia. Okay, and what's a vocab term there, girl? Come on now. No. What is the term that we use for presidents when they're in power, Ellie? Bully pulpit. What is the bully pulpit, Ellie? Yes, can control a national narrative. A national narrative. Here we go. Let's just see. Okay. 2, informal powers of the president that contributes to the president's advantage over Congress is their ability to circumvent Congress with executive agreements to support a policy of their choosing. Period. The president can also use the bully pulpit or their ability to control a national narrative to gain support for their foreign diplomacy. All right, flip it over. Let's go. D. Okay, let's look at D. D. Explain how each of the informal powers identified in C contributes to the president's advantages over Congress. Okay, there's something I want to talk about here. Okay, we have seen identify, and now we've seen the word explain, and I really want to talk about it. When you see the word explain, it refers to citing an example. Like you can't, we already told them what these things are. We're now providing examples. So anytime you see the word explain, we're tying it to a specific example, okay? When you see identify, essentially you're just doing vocab. Identify is a vocab. That's what these terms mean. Every time you see them in a heading, most of the time it's going to be identify. Every once in a while you see the word explain. Anytime it's explain, you're using a president's name and saying, or whatever they're giving us, and say this is when it happened. Is everyone clear on the difference of the language? Here we go. All right, you can tell me a president who used executive agreements with foreign leaders to get something done. Hey, you know how in my lectures I always say, hey, did you know Obama did this? Hey, Trump did this. Hey, Biden's doing this. Hey, FDR. Guess why? Your essays. Hey, how important is vocab right now? Yeah, pretty important, yes? Are we starting to see that things that we're doing in class have a bigger significance than just your weekly test? Yeah. What do you got, Ryan? What's the executive agreement, though? For no nuclear testing. Perfect. Executive agreement. Trump with North Korea. No nukes. We're obviously not just going to write no nukes in our essay, but we're planning. Do you see how simplistic my planning is? Hello? But it's important that we stop and think for a sec and come up with something and then go forward. All right, we need something for bully pulpit. When have you seen a president use their political power to try to drum up something politically? Literally, it happened yesterday. It's literally happening right now. What do we got? I've already talked to the Mia. You got a better example? It's more specific. Nope, and it can't be used. Oliver, what do you got? When have we seen a president try to use the bully pulpit in order to support a foreign policy? You can use Trump again. You just can't use Trump in North Korea. Guys, I would open up your notes because you are literally wasting time. Last period, I finished concept number 2, and I got 3/4 of the way through quantitative number 1. Wouldn't you like me to do that too? Yeah, so why don't you help and try to get something done? I've talked to these people. Yeah, I'm not letting 4 people carry everyone. I'm not. You got to do the work. You got to be looking. What do you got, Tatum? Of course, every president uses it. What is FDR using it for?
World War II. For
Supporting what country? What country is our big ally? England. Here we go. Take out. Flip it over. Let's go. D. Guys, you don't need to know every single aspect of history, but you can also kind of make some shit up, yes? Okay, you know FDR went to war. He's going to World War II. We're on the side of the English. Just kind of like make it happen, yes? This class is a history class. That's the reason I'm teaching you, which means you have to have a little bit of background. When I'm talking about these presidents, you have to be clicking things in because it can come back and come get you. If you're not good at history, you really got to lean into some of the historical components. Here we go. The informal powers of the president. With their use of executive agreements allows leaders one-on-one to negotiate and agree to specific terms in the room. Trump, period. Trump did this with, I happen to know Kim Jong-un, so I'm going to say it. Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Actually, I'm not sure how to spell his name at the moment. G-U-N-G. Yeah, that's right. Of North Korea. With banning nuclear warfare. Testing. That's what it was. All right. FDR will use his bully pulpit prior to World War II, prior to the U.S. joining World War II, to gather support and money to send to England, who is already engaged in the war. There you go. Okay, you have just finished one of your essays. That needs to be held on to until Monday. You'll turn it in on Monday, and I will record it. All you had to do is copy. Here we go. Let's go to quantitative. Number 1, at the top of a new sheet of paper, write quantitative, number 1. Okay. I will tell you, quantitative is my worst one because I'm bad at math. Not that you're actually doing math, it's just like anything with numbers, like I just can't retain. That's why I married an accountant. Okay, so with that being said, as soon as you got a quantitative prompt, you need to stop and you need to look at what it's telling you. Be mindful. Okay. Public education spending amount spent per pupil by state in 2014. So we have a diagram of the United States. It's all color coordinated. On the key, I would always write on the key. Is it going from high to low or low to high? Always know. If it's up here, it's high. If it's down here, it's low. I find that people make mistakes, simple mistakes. Here we go. Okay, so by looking at the map, we see that most of the United States is what? Low or high? Low. Okay, so just making general observations about the piece, and then do not spend more than a minute doing this, but it's important to kind of frame your thoughts before you start answering questions. A, use the map to respond to the following questions. A, identify the most common level of education spending in the United States. Here we go. What is the most common level of education spending? Come on now. Every hand should be up. You're looking at a chart. It is really not that hard. Maribel. 8,000 to 99,000. 999,000. Perfect. Flip it over. Let's answer the question so you can see exactly what it looks like. On the other side, you're writing quantitative. Number 1, sorry. Number 1. A. Here we go. Okay, the most common. Level of education spending. In the Southeast was between 8,000 to 9,999,000. There you go. Do we like quantitative? That's it. Yeah, isn't it nice? It's progressive. It's progressive. It always starts easy and gets harder. Here we go. B, identify a similarity or difference in public education spending by state or region as illustrated on the map. All right, where do we want to look? The faster you move, the faster I get things down on the paper and you have to do less at home. Ash, what do you want to look at?
Southeast and the Southwest, like that, they like basically have the same budget.
Okay. I always think it's easier to do opposites. Because if you're doing opposites, you can say that this happened because. Does that make sense? Personally, I think it's easier. I think similarities, it gets kind of lost in the details. Rinkus? Northeast. Okay, southeast is low. Northeast is high. Now, this is all about tax money, yes? They spend low of tax money on it, high on tax money. Here we go. Flip it over. Here we go. B. Do you like quantitative so far? A major difference between the American Southeast and Northeast is how the states funded education. Period. The Southeast spends lower levels tax dollars on education. while the Northeast spends more tax dollars. There you go. That's it. Isn't that nice? C. Okay, draw a conclusion about a similarity or difference in public education spending by state or region, illustrated by the map. How does education, what is education spending based on? Eve.
Maybe the taxes in the Northeast are higher than in the Southeast.
Okay, what are you going to use as your vocab term? Guys, what's the big vocab term? Guys, why are each of these states spending different amounts of money on education? I've taught you this. Open up your stuff. Come on now. What do you got, Leo? Yes, it's up to the states. And what do we call that? What does education fall under there, Leo? Oh, it is a reserve power. Yes, it is. And that's a very good answer. But that does not explain why there's a difference in these things. What is it, Nikhil? Federalism is a great answer. Yes, but there's a specific one. Federalism is a great answer, actually. But it won't score on this one. What part of federalism dictates that states can spend whatever they want on this lovely W word? Eve. Welfare. Here we go. C. Okay, so we need to come up with something. Are more states spending more or less money on education? Less. More states spend less than Northeast. Okay, why? Because it's welfare spending. It's welfare programs. Okay? And that is important because of federalism. Yes. Love it, Leo. States control their own welfare programs. And because of that, they vary. Is the quality of education in Florida better or worse than Alabama? Better. Is Florida better or worse than Massachusetts? Worse, because Massachusetts is number one. Florida is straight in the middle. And Alabama is at the bottom. Here we go. Let's flip it. Okay, here we go. See. One major difference in public education is the varying amount of money spent on education due to the fact education is considered welfare programming. Due to federalism, because we want to show them how smart we are. Due to federalism, states control welfare programs, parentheses, education, which is why each state does it differently in the funding of it. Yeah. So smart. All right, D. Flip it over. Let's keep it moving. How much time do I have? How much?
6.
Oh my gosh, we're so good. All right, here we go. Do you see the point of this is, if you come and you help me, do we move quick? Hi, isn't that nice? Okay, here we go. D. Explain how public education spending, as shown in the map, demonstrates the principle of federalism. Ooh, how fun. So, if you have your stuff, I would open up to your federalism notes, and I would look at your focus or look on your vocab and come up with something. Because remember, it says explain, so we have to do something specific, like mention a president, mention a document. We gotta be bold. I've already talked to Mia too many times. Love you, but sorry. Maribel.
Nicole Force Maryland?
What?
It's just in my phone and does. Because it like creates implied powers.
Wait, what court case?
Nicole Force Maryland.
Interesting. Implied powers? No, because it gives the federal government more power and the states less. What do you got, Oliver?
It represents the reserve powers that each state has.
Ah, reserve powers is a great answer. And what are reserve powers, Oliver?
It's powers given to the state explicitly by the Constitution.
Powers given by the state, given to the state explicitly by the Constitution. Yes. Okay. All right. So we got to give a specific example. Remember, anytime it says explain, we got to tie it to something. You can reference the state of Florida. You just have to say like an example. This can be seen in la 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 la. Whatever you want. What do we got? I've already talked to all these people too many times. What do you got, Stella? Well, we know that, right? Because we've already talked about that in the piece. We can't use something we've already talked about. I mean, you're right. Like, you're not wrong, but we've already talked about how states have control over it. Tatum.
Maybe how like DeSantis has made like certain like rules and boundaries for public school here.
Yes! DeSantis. And who is he? What's his title? Governor of Florida. Has changed Florida schools while other states were not impacted by his decisions. Good. What's our specific piece of evidence? What is our example here? The fact that we are citing who? DeSantis. That's our, anytime it says something about explain, it's about providing an example. Like you have to state someone's name, you have to state a court case or a primary, you got to state something very direct. Is everyone clear? Yeah, if it ties to, but they're not going to give you the amendments. They're going to say it in the piece. All right, here we go. Let's answer it. D. All right. D. The principle of federalism that is implied from the map is reserved powers. Reserved powers are granted to states by the Constitution to control certain aspects of government away from federal regulation. In Florida, Governor DeSantis has implemented laws on public education that are only felt within the state of Florida itself. Here you go. Yes. Principle of federalism that is implied from the map is reserved powers. Reserved powers are granted to states by the Constitution to control certain aspects of government away from federal regulation. In Florida, Governor DeSantis has implemented laws on public education that are only felt within the state of Florida itself. Yay! All right, when it says explain, what do you have to do? Provide a example, a specific example of a name, a place, a president, or something like that. Like they want something specific. If it's identify, you only need to use a vocab term. How do we feel? I don't think they're that bad. Way easier than AP World. That shit sucks. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day. You only have how many essays to do this week? Isn't that nice? Do you see how nice it is when you show up to class and help me and I can answer, we can get these things going quickly? So it is to your betterment to show up ready to go. Do you see how nice it is when you have all your stuff in front of you as well? Yeah, just a little helpsy-handsy. What do you got?
What if it's like a specific situation, right? But
Yay.
you can't have the name?
Ah, you got